Every time you've held back your gifts because you thought you weren't ready, weren't good enough, weren't qualified enough, or didn't have time, that was never humility, that was hoarding. The world needs what you came here to give, and pretending to be small serves no one. Welcome to the reality revolution. Welcome to this moment that exists between moments. You've arrived at the threshold of the between space, that shimmering quantum field where every possibility you've ever imagined and a trillion more you haven't are dancing together in perfect potential. Right now, as you're listening to these words, you already know what it feels like to be completely whole. Your body remembers it, even if your mind has forgotten. There's something stirring in your cells, isn't there? A recognition, a whisper of remembrance. You see, your soul has been playing the most elaborate game of hide and seek with itself across dimensions, lifetimes, and realities. And today is the day the game ends. Not because you've been searching, but because you finally stopped running from what you've always been. This isn't meditation, where you quiet your mind. This is not hypnosis, where you go somewhere else. This is remembering. This is coming home to the cosmic truth that's always been pulsing in your DNA since before time learned how to count. And I wonder how quickly you'll recognize the fragments that have been waiting for you in the labyrinth of your own soul. Some might surprise you with how familiar they feel. Others might shock you with how powerfully they've become in your absence, but all of them, every single one, has been calling your name in frequencies only your heart could hear. Today we're going to gather these fragments of your soul together into one unified whole, awakening your true potential, your true light, your true self. You already know this is going to change everything. You can feel it, can't you? That electric anticipation humming just beneath your awareness. That's not excitement about what's coming. That's a recognition of what's already here, already true, already you. The labyrinth of your soul exists in the space between your heartbeats, in the pause between your thoughts, in the infinite moment between who you think you are and who you've always been. And the beautiful thing about labyrinths, unlike mazes designed to confuse you, labyrinths are designed to lead you exactly where you need to go. Your soul fragments are not lost. They're not broken. They're not hiding from you. They're waiting for you to remember you had the power to call them home all along. So take this moment not to prepare yourself for what's coming, but to acknowledge what's already begun. The moment you decided to press play and listen to these words, your soul's labyrinth activated. The fragments felt your presence. The reunion started. Are you ready to meet parts of yourself that have been orchestrating this moment from dimensions beyond time, because they're ready to meet you? The entrance to your soul's labyrinth appears now, shimmering with the golden light you recognize from your deepest dreams. Step forward. Not with your feet, but with your knowing. Not with effort, but with the natural magnetism of a soul calling itself home. The first corridor awaits, and with it, the first fragment of your infinite self. And there, standing at the entrance to your soul's labyrinth, do you see it? The guardian. Not quite shadow, not quite light, but something in between. Some call it doubt, others call it fear, but I know what it really is. It's the part of you that's been protecting the treasure. See, this guardian has been standing watch, making sure only the real you gets through, the version of you that's done playing small, the you that's ready to claim what's always been yours, that voice whispering, this won't work right now, that skeptical part saying, this is just fantasy. That's not your enemy. That's your soul's GPS system guiding you exactly where you need to go, because where there's resistance, there's power trying to emerge. Where there's doubt, there's truth trying to surface. The guardian steps closer now, and you realize something profound. It looks exactly like you. It is you, but wearing the costume of every limitation you've ever believed. Every I can't, every I'm not worthy, every this isn't possible, they're all here, staring back at you. And here's the cosmic joke the guardian wants to share with you. The more you think you can't do this, the more you're about to blow your own mind. The stronger the resistance feels, the more powerful the breakthrough is knocking on your door. Because resistance isn't the opposite of power, it's power in disguise, waiting for you to recognize it and put it to work. So look this guardian right in the eyes, these eyes that are your own eyes, and say what every sovereign soul knows to say. Thank you for guarding the gate. Thank you for making sure I was ready, but I am ready now. And it's time for you to step aside. Watch as the guardian smiles, actually smiles, because this was always the plan. This moment of recognition was always the key. The guardian doesn't disappear, it transforms into rocket fuel, into pure creative force, into the very energy that's about to power your journey through the labyrinth of your own infinite nature. Feel that shift. That's not confidence building. That's remembrance activating. That's not courage growing. That's your natural authority returning. You don't enter this labyrinth as a seeker hoping to find yourself. You enter as the sovereign creator of your own reality, about to collect the fragments you scattered across dimensions on purpose for this exact moment of reunion. The guardian steps aside, bowing slightly, whispering, "Welcome home, creator. Your fragments have been waiting." And with that acknowledgement of who you've always been, the labyrinth opens before you, like a flower blooming in fast motion. Not a maze to confuse you, but a sacred mandala designed to return you to yourself. The first quarter beckons, golden, warm, alive with possibility. You step forward not with hope, but with knowing, not with effort, but with the natural magnetism of a soul calling its scattered pieces home. The first fragment is close now. So close you can feel its frequency harmonizing with your heartbeat. The golden corridor stretches before you, and immediately you notice something. The very air hums with richness. Not just wealth, but richness in every dimension. Rich colors, rich sounds, rich possibilities flowing like rivers of liquid light along the walls. Have you ever noticed how abundance has its own frequency? It's not the sound of money. That's just one tiny octave in the symphony. True abundance resonates at the frequency of more than enough for everyone, including me. It's the frequency of a universe so outrageously generous that it creates billions of stars just to light up the night sky for free. And there, suspended in the golden light of this corridor, floating like a precious gem that's been waiting eons for this moment, is your abundance fragment. It's beautiful, crystallized light that shifts between emerald and gold, pulsing with the rhythm of infinite supply. As you approach, you can feel it calling to something deep in your cells, something ancient, something that remembers. Your body knows this frequency, doesn't it? Feel how your chest expands slightly, how your shoulders drop, how something in your nervous system sighs with recognition. That's not wishful thinking, that's cellular memory awakening. Your DNA remembers the blueprint of abundance because you were literally born with it. The universe spent 13.8 billion years creating the perfect conditions for you to exist. Talk about an investment strategy. Stars died to create the elements in your body. The cosmos orchestrated your existence with more resources than the global economy has ever seen. And you think abundance is hard to come by. In the reality where you've always been abundant, and there is such a reality running parallel to this one, in that timeline, you've never learned to worry about having enough in that dimension of yourself. Abundance isn't something you attract or manifest or work for, it's simply what you are. The abundance fragment drifts closer now. And you realize it's not just light, it's alive. It's the part of your soul that never forgot. You live in an infinitely generous universe. the part that knows scarcity is just a game you play to make life more interesting. Like playing hide and seek with yourself. Remember the fragment whispers and frequencies your bones can hear. You didn't come to learn abundance. You came here to remember you are abundance, having a human experience. Reach out now, not with your hands, but with your knowing. Feel the fragment recognize you. Feel it moving towards the center of your chest like it's coming home after a long journey. As it touches your heart space, notice how it doesn't add to you, it awakens what was already there. Feel it now. That warm golden sensation spreading through your bloodstream. That's a reactivation. Every cell in your body remembering its original prosperity programming. Your mitochondria, those little powerhouses in every cell, they are powered by abundance. They take simple sugars and create the energy that keeps you alive. They're abundance factories. They've been running 24/7 your entire life without you having to manifest a single ATP molecule. The fragment dissolves into your being now, but not like sugar dissolves in water, like recognition dissolves confusion, like remembering dissolves forgetting. Feel your nervous system updating its baseline from not enough to more than enough. Feel yourselves upgrading their operating system from scarcity to abundance. Here is what is happening right now as this integration completes. New neural pathways are forming. Synapses are connecting in patterns that mirror the sacred geometry of infinite supply. Your brain is rewiring itself to perceive the abundance that was always there. Like putting on glasses that let you see wavelengths of light you never knew existed. And tomorrow morning when you wake up, you'll notice something different. Maybe it's the way the sunlight looks richer. Maybe it's how you taste your coffee differently. Maybe it's how opportunities seem to notice you more, because abundance isn't something that comes to you. It's something you come alive to. The abundance fragment has merged completely now. You can feel it, can't you? That sense of enoughness. That has nothing to do with your bank account and everything to do with your bank of being. You're not trying to become abundant. You're remembering you never weren't. The golden corridor glows brightly as you carry this frequency forward. One fragment home, 6 more waiting. Each one a piece of this cosmic puzzle that is your soul, finally ready to remember itself as whole. The path ahead shimmers, leading toward chambers you recognize from dreams that you forgot. The corridor opens into the crystal chambers, and immediately the entire atmosphere shifts. You're surrounded by formations of living crystal, not cold stone, but warm, pulsing geometries that seem to breathe with the rhythm of creation itself. Each crystal face reflects not light, but possibility, not images, but potential. And floating in the center of this sacred space is your healing fragment. Liquid light flowing in patterns of sacred geometry that your soul recognizes as the original blueprint of perfection. Here's what most people get backwards about healing. They think it's about fixing what's broken, but healing isn't fixing what's broken. It's remembering what was never damaged. It's not becoming whole. It's about recognizing you never weren't. Your body already knows how to be perfect. Right now, as you're listening to these words, your body is performing millions of healing miracles without your conscious mind getting involved at all. It's rebuilding cells, fighting off invaders, maintaining temperature, circulating life force, all while you're focused on other things. Your body is a healing genius that never graduated from medical school but knows more about wellness than entire universities. The healing fragment draws closer, and you can see it's not just light, it's information. Living information that contains the memory of when every system in your body was functioning in perfect harmony. Before you learned that aging was inevitable, before you bought into the story that your body was fragile, before you forgot that you're made of the same elements as stars and stars don't get sick. In the quantum field where healing happens instantaneously, and that field exists right here, right now, there's a version of your body that remembers its original factory settings. The version that knows how to regenerate like a salamander, how to adapt like water, how to thrive like the immortal jellyfish that resets its biological age whenever it feels like it. Reach towards the fragment now, and as you do, notice how it doesn't move towards your hand, it moves towards your heart. Because healing doesn't happen in your head, where you think about what's wrong. It happens in your heart, where you remember what's right. The moment the fragment touches your chest, you can feel it, this warm cascade of liquid light flowing through your bloodstream like cosmic medicine. Not healing what's broken, but activating what's perfect. Not fixing what's wrong, but illuminating what's right. Feel how different your cells feel when they remember their original blueprint. Notice how your breath deepens automatically when your lungs remember they were designed to process not just oxygen, but life force itself. Sense how your heart rhythm harmonizes when it recalls it's not just pumping blood, but circulating liquid light through a temple. Your nervous system is updating right now, not learning new information, but remembering ancient wisdom. The wisdom that knows your body is not separate from the cosmos. It is cosmos, temporarily organized into the miracle of you. The healing fragment dissolves into your being now like starlight dissolving into dawn. And as it integrates, something profound happens. Your cellular memory awakens to the truth that entropy was always optional, that aging was always negotiable, that vitality was always your natural state. Here's your future memory implanting now. Tomorrow, when you look in the mirror, you'll notice something different in your eyes, a vitality that wasn't there before, not because you've been healed, but because you have remembered you were never broken. Next week, you'll catch yourself moving differently with more grace, more ease, more aliveness, because your body will be operating from its original blueprint instead of its learned limitations. Here's the most beautiful part. Every time you cut yourself, your body immediately begins rebuilding, not because it learned how, but because it remembers how. Every time you sleep, your cells regenerate, not because you told them to, but because they know perfection is their default setting. The healing fragment has merged completely now. You feel that? That sense of wholeness that has nothing to do with the absence of symptoms and everything to do with the presence of life force flowing freely through every fiber of your being. The crystal's chambers pulse with renewed light as you carry this frequency of a perfect wholeness forward. 2 fragments integrated, 5 more waiting. Each one a reminder you are never broken, never lacking, never anything less than a walking miracle pretending to be ordinary. The path ahead leads to chambers that echo with the sound of purpose, calling your name. You step into the mirror hall, and suddenly you're surrounded by infinite reflections, but these aren't mirrors showing you who you are. These are mirrors showing you who you came here to be for others. Each reflection reveals a different soul whose life will be transformed by your authentic expression. And there, suspended in the center of this hall of infinite impact, your service fragment pulses like a living constellation, an interconnected web of light with threads reaching toward every corner of existence. Each thread connects to a life waiting to be touched by your unique frequency. And here's what they never told you about service. It's not sacrifice. It's not giving until it hurts. Service is self-expression at its most explosive, most unapologetic, most alive. It's the universe experiencing itself through your particular brand of genius. Your gifts aren't meant to be shared. They're meant to be unleashed. There's a difference. Sharing implies you're giving something away, diminishing yourself in the process. Unleashing means letting your natural power flow so freely that it transforms everything it touches, including you. The service fragment draws closer, and you can see each thread of light connecting to a specific soul somewhere in time and space. That person struggling with the same challenge you've mastered. That dreamer who needs to hear exactly the words you were born to speak. That seeker who's been waiting their entire life for someone with your unique combination of wounds and wisdom to show them the way. You came here to disturb the peace of mediocrity. You came here to be so authentically yourself that you give others permission to stop pretending to be normal. You came here to demonstrate what happens when a soul stops apologizing for its brightness and starts wielding it like the cosmic weapon it is. Look closer at the service fragment. See how it's not asking you to be selfless, it's asking you to be so fully yourself that your very existence becomes a gift to the world. Service is not about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming so completely who you are that you can't help but lift others into their own becoming. Reach for the fragment now, and as you do, feel every cell in your body awakening to its mission. Not a mission imposed from outside, but the mission encoded in your DNA before you took your first breath. The mission that whispers, be so lit that you illuminate the path for others. The moment the fragment touches your heart, you feel it. That electric surge of purpose that has nothing to do with obligation and everything to do with celebration. This is what you came here for, not to save the world, but to be so magnificent yourself that the world can't help but be transformed by your presence. Feel the web of light integrating into your energy field now, each thread connecting you to your soul tribe scattered across the planet. The ones you've been waiting for, your book, your art, your voice, your healing touch, your revolutionary ideas, your way of seeing the world that no one else can replicate. Your service isn't separate from your joy. It is your joy expressing itself. Your mission isn't separate from your passion. It is your passion unleashed upon the world like a benevolent virus of awakening. And here's your purpose. Integrating right now. Every time you've held back your gifts because you thought you weren't ready, weren't good enough, weren't qualified enough, or didn't have time, that was never humility, that was hoarding. The world needs what you came here to give, and pretending to be small serves no one. Feel your nervous system recalibrating now to match the frequency of someone who knows they have something the world needs. Not ego. Knowing. Not arrogance. Authority. The authority of a soul that remembers why it chose to be here at this exact moment in history. The service fragment has woven itself into every cell of your being now. You can feel it, can't you? That sense of mission that makes your heart beat faster, not with anxiety, but with anticipation. That knowing that your gifts aren't hobbies or side projects, they're assignments from the universe itself. From now on, every time you feel urged to play small, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember that your authenticity is your service. Your self-expression is your contribution. Your willingness to be fully yourself is your gift to a world that's forgotten how to be genuine. The mirror hall blazes with reflected light as you carry this frequency of purposeful service forward. 3 fragments integrated, 4 more waiting. Each one a piece of the mission that brought you to this planet, to this lifetime, to this moment of remembering why you're here. The path ahead resonates with the frequency of love itself, not love as emotion, but love as operating system of existence. You enter the heart sanctum. Immediately everything changes. The very fabric of reality here pulses with warmth that goes beyond temperature, beyond sensation. And there, expanding and contracting like the breathing of the cosmos, your love fragment radiates as infinite warmth that seems to have no beginning and no end. Here's the secret they never taught you about love. Love isn't something you get or you give. It's what you are. You don't fall into love. You fall into remembering what you're made of. Right now, this very moment, your heart is beating with love. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart extends several feet beyond your body, carrying the frequency of love into every room you enter. You've been broadcasting love your entire life. You are the love you've been seeking. The love fragment drifts closer and you realize it's not approaching you, you're recognizing it. It was never separate from you. It's the part of your soul that never forgot that love isn't a commodity to be earned, but the fundamental substance from which you're constructed. Every relationship you've ever had was love meeting itself in disguise. Every heartbreak was love teaching you that it can be contained in forms. Every moment of longing was love calling you home to the truth that you're not a person looking for love, you're love wearing the costume of a person, temporarily forgetting your true identity. Watch as the love fragment begins to expand, filling the entire sanctum with its presence. Feel how it doesn't add love to you, it reveals the love you are. Your mitochondria, those little powerhouses in every cell, they're love factories. Every breath you take is love sustaining love. Every heartbeat is love celebrating love. in the timeline where you've always lived from love rather than seeking it. And that timeline is activating right now. You've never needed anyone else to complete you because you recognize yourself as completion itself. Feel the love fragment merging with your being now, not like two separate things joining, but like water recognizing water, like space recognizing space. As this integration completes, notice how your relationship to everything shifts, not because you're feeling more loving, but because you're recognizing love everywhere. In the difficult people, that's love wearing a challenging costume to teach you something about love. In the painful experiences, that's love in disguise, expanding your capacity to hold more of yourself. The love fragment has dissolved completely into your being. You can feel it now, can't you? That unshakable knowing that love isn't something you do or feel or find, it's what you are when you stop pretending to be anything else. The heart sanctum glows with warmth of recognition as you carry the frequency of unconditional love forward. 4 fragments integrated, 3 more waiting, each one a facet of the love you are, ready to know itself as a whole. The path ahead leads toward chambers where even the shadows bow to the light of forgiveness. You descend into the shadow archives, and immediately you surround yourself by floating crystalline files containing every grievance, every wound, every they done me wrong story that's ever been recorded, all around you. But here's the cosmic joke. As you watch, you realize these aren't records of your pain, they're records of your education. And here in the center of all this archived drama, your forgiveness fragment dances like living shadow transforming into light. Not destroying the shadow, but revealing what it really was all along. Light playing dress up as darkness to teach you something magnificent about your own indestructibility. Every person who ever hurt you was actually a method actor hired by your soul to play a very specific role in your awakening. They delivered their lines perfectly, pushed your buttons with Oscar-worthy precision, all so you could discover that you can't actually be diminished by anything outside yourself. The forgiveness fragment spins closer, and you can see it's not just transforming shadow into light. It's revealing that shadow and light were never opposites. They're dance partners, co-conspirators. Shadow is just light taking a coffee break, pretending not to recognize itself. What if, and I'm just saying what if, every person who challenged you was actually love in disguise, showing up in the most difficult costume possible to ensure you develop the exact strength you needed for your mission? What if every betrayal was actually the universe's way of teaching you to trust yourself? Feel that shift happening in your energy field now, right now. That's not forgiveness happening, that's gratitude activating. Gratitude for the contrast that taught you who you're not so you could remember who you are. Reach toward the forgiveness fragment, and as you do, feel every resentment you've ever been carrying suddenly becoming hilarious. Not because it wasn't painful, but because you can finally see the cosmic setup. You can see how perfectly orchestrated it all was to bring you to this exact moment of recognition. The fragment touches your heart, and immediately you feel the quantum release happening, not forgiveness as effort, but forgiveness as recognition. Recognition that there was never anything to forgive because there was never anyone doing anything to you. There were only souls playing roles with you in the grandest improv theater in existence. Feel yourself jumping timelines now, quantum leaping from the reality where you're the victim of your story to the reality where you're the hero of your adventure. In this new timeline, every challenge strengthened you, every setback set you up, every closed door led you to open one you were meant to walk through. The shadow archives are transforming around you now. Files dissolving into light, grievances becoming gratitude, wounds becoming wisdom. The forgiveness fragment has integrated completely, and you can feel it, that lightness that comes not from carrying less, but realizing you were never actually carrying anything. You were just holding on to stories that were meant to be stepping stones, not permanent addresses. From this moment forward, every time someone triggers you, you remember this perspective. You see the cosmic comedian behind the mask, the teacher behind the challenge, the gift behind the wrapping that looked like a problem. The shadow archives fade behind you as you carry this frequency of liberated gratitude forward. 5 fragments integrated, 2 more waiting, each one a key to the cosmic joke that is your soul's perfect plan for its own awakening. Ahead, chambers of power await, where you'll reclaim the sovereignty you never actually lost. You ascend into the sovereignty chamber, and immediately the energy shifts to something primal, something that existed before you learned to doubt yourself. The walls here pulse with the frequency of kings and queens who never needed crowns, leaders who never needed titles, creators who never needed permission. And there, in the center of this ancient throne room, your power fragment blazes like an inner sun. Not the desperate fire of ego trying to prove itself, but the steady radiance of a soul that knows its own authority. Blazing, yes, but with the quiet confidence of stars that light galaxies without fanfare. Here's what they never told you about true power. True power whispers while force screams. Real power doesn't need to announce itself because it simply is. Look around this chamber at the empty thrones. Not empty because no one is worthy to sit in them, but empty because the beings powerful enough to occupy them have transcended the need for external symbols of authority. Your power fragment draws closer and you can feel it calling to something ancient in your bloodline. Not your human bloodline, that part of you that descended from stars, that carries the DNA of galaxies, that remembers when you were pure creative force before you learned to ask permission to exist. How long have you been giving your power away? How many years have you been seeking approval from people who were never qualified to judge your magnificence? How much of your life force have you leaked trying to make others comfortable with your brightness? The fragment pulses brighter, and suddenly you see the truth. You never lost your power, you just gave everyone else the job of holding it for you. Every time you asked, "Is this okay?" instead of declaring, "This is how it is." But power isn't something you take back, it's something you stop giving away. It's not something you build, it's something you remember. Reach for the power fragment now, and as you do, every cell in your body remembers what it feels like to operate with absolute power from sovereignty instead of survival. Feel your nervous system recalibrate from what do they want me to be to what am I here to create. The moment of the fragment touching your solar plexus, you feel it, the blazing inner sun igniting in your core. Not the fire or anger of aggression, but the steady flame of being who knows their worth without needing external validation. Feel your energetic boundaries activating, not as walls to keep others out, but as force fields that command respect. This is what's happening right now. Your DNA is remembering its royal programming. Feel what it's like to stop asking permission to be magnificent. Feel how different your posture becomes when you remember you're not here to fit in. You're here to stand out. The power fragment blazes through your entire being now. And with it comes the knowing of your absolute power. You don't need anyone's approval to be yourself. You don't need external authority to validate your vision. You don't need permission from the universe that literally conspired to create you. Your sovereignty isn't earned, it's innate. From this moment forward, every time someone tries to diminish your light, you remember this blazing inner sun that no external force can extinguish. Every time the world asks you to play small, you feel this sovereignty frequency reminding you that you're here to disturb the universe with your authenticity. The sovereignty chamber acknowledges your reclaimed authority as you carry this frequency of unshakable power forward. 6 fragments integrated, 1 remains. The final piece that has been hiding behind the greatest illusion of all. Ahead lies the chamber where time itself bows to the eternal now of your multidimensional nature. You enter the temporal nexus, and immediately reality becomes fluid. The walls here don't exist in any single moment. They shimmer between what was, what is, and what could be. Past, present, and future swirling together like colors bleeding into each other on an infinite canvas. It's being painted by consciousness itself. And there, suspended in the eye of this temporal storm, your final fragment appears as a spiraling infinity symbol, rotating through dimensions that don't have names. Not moving through time, but revealing time as movement through it. This is the master key, the final piece that's been hiding behind the greatest illusion ever constructed. Linear time is the ultimate illusion hiding your multidimensional nature. The greatest magic trick ever performed, convincing infinite beings they're trapped in a single timeline. When the truth is you exist in all timelines simultaneously. You're not having one experience in time, you're having every possible experience across the eternal now. Right now, this very moment, there's a version of you that never experienced that heartbreak. Another version that chose the other path at every crossroads. A timeline where you said yes when you said no. Stayed when you left. Spoke when you remained silent. All of these versions exist now, not in some imaginary parallel universe, but in the quantum field of infinite possibility that is you. The time fragment spirals close, and as it does, you feel your consciousness expanding beyond the narrow bandwidth of sequential experience. Feel your awareness stretching across multiple dimensions, multiple timelines, multiple expressions of your eternal self, all existing in the magnificent now of pure being. You've never been moving through time. Time has been moving through you. You've never been aging. You've been expanding. You've never been running out of time. You've been discovering that you are time, temporarily pretending to be limited by itself. Watch the infinity symbol rotate now and see how it contains every moment you've ever experienced and every moment you'll ever experience. See how childhood, your future self, your highest potential, and your deepest fears all exist in the same eternal instant. The only thing that changes is which frequency of the eternal now you're tuned into. This is why healing can happen instantly. This is why manifestation can occur in moments. This is why you can quantum leap into a completely different reality between one breath and the next, because all realities exist simultaneously in the timeless field of pure potential. And you, the eternal you, can access any frequency, any timeline, any version of yourself simply by remembering you're not bound by the illusion of a sequence. Reach for the time fragment now, and as you do, feel every cell in your body remembering its timeless nature. Your DNA doesn't age, it cycles. Your consciousness does not decay, it expands. Your soul doesn't run out of time, it experiences itself as time, itself having a cosmic experience. The moment the fragment touches your crown, you feel it, the collapse, not a destruction, but a recognition. Past, present, future collapsing into the eternal now of pure potential. Feel your linear consciousness dissolving into quantum awareness. Feel your sequential experience expanding into simultaneous being. This is what's happening now. You're remembering you can access the wisdom of your future self, the innocence of your child self, the mastery of your highest self, all simultaneously. You're not becoming these things, you are recognizing you already are all of them in the eternal now that contains all possibilities. Feel how the time fragment unlocks all the other fragments. Feel how abundance becomes eternal abundance, how healing becomes timeless wholeness, how service becomes multidimensional expression, how love becomes infinite recognition, and how forgiveness becomes eternal completion, while power becomes timeless sovereignty. Your nervous system is updating now to match the frequency of a being who exists outside of time while playing within it. Your cellular memory is activating to remember that aging is optional, that limitation is learned, that mortality is just immortality playing dress up. Every heartbeat now pulses with the rhythm of eternity. Every breath breathes the eternal now. Every thought thinks itself across all timelines simultaneously. You're not having a time-bound experience. You're having a timeless experience disguised as time. The time fragment has integrated completely, not because it became part of you, because you remembered you were never separate from the eternal now that it represents. Feel the recognition settling into your bones, your blood, your breath. From this moment forward, and moment is just a concept now, you'll operate from the knowing that you have access to all time, all possibilities, all versions of yourself. When you need wisdom, you'll access your future self. When you need healing, you'll connect with your perfect self. When you need power, you embody your sovereign self. You're not a time-bound being having an eternal experience. You're an eternal being having a time-bound experience. And now you remember the difference. The temporal nexus dissolves around you because you've transcended the need for location to contain your vastness. 7 fragments integrated. The soul scattered across dimensions reunites in the magnificent wholeness you've always been. And the final integration begins. And now in this space, beyond the labyrinth, beyond location, beyond the need for journey, because the destination has been reached, all 7 fragments begin to converge. Watch as your fragments dance together. Abundance, golden and flowing, healing, crystalline and perfect. Service blazing with interconnected purpose. Love expanding, infinitely warm. Forgiveness light with liberated laughter. Power radiating sovereign authority, and time spiraling through eternal now, each a facet of the diamond you've always been. Feel yourself as the orchestrator of this cosmic symphony, not conducting from outside, but conducting from within as the music itself. As the fragments spiral closer together, you realize something profound. This isn't unification, this is recognition. They were never fragmented. You were never broken. This was never anything missing. Your soul didn't scatter itself across dimensions because it was damaged. It did it because it could, because infinite beings play infinite games and hide and seek with yourself across timelines is the ultimate cosmic entertainment. Feel the energetic activation of complete soul embodiment happening now. Not energy being added to you, but energy being revealed as you. And here in this moment of complete recognition, your future self merges with your present awareness. Not because your future self travels back in time, but because you remember that all versions of you exist simultaneously in the eternal now. Feel that merger happening. Feel how your future self's knowing becomes your present knowing. Feel how their certainty becomes your certainty. You're not becoming whole. You're remembering you never weren't. You're not finding yourself. You're stopping looking for what was never lost. The fragments aren't merging. They're revealing. They were always one light expressing itself as 7 colors. One consciousness experiencing itself as multiple facets. One soul playing the grandest game of cosmic hide and seek ever conceived. Feel the completion now, not the end of something, but the beginning of everything. Feel yourself as the unified field that contains all possibilities. The quantum consciousness that dreams all realities. The infinite being that chose to forget itself so it could experience the joy of remembering. You are the labyrinth and the one walking through it. You are the fragments and the one collecting them. You are the seeker and the sought, the question and the answer, the journey and the destination, all unified in the magnificent wholeness that you've always been. The soul unification protocol is complete. Not because something has been accomplished, but because something has been remembered. This is who you've always been. This is what you came here to remember. This is the truth that was hidden in plain sight behind every seeking, every longing, every moment. Nothing was ever missing. No one has ever broken. No soul was ever truly lost. There was only infinite consciousness playing the most beautiful game of pretending to be finite, so it could experience the ecstasy of remembering its infinitude. And now the remembering is complete. As this recognition settles into your being like morning light setting into a landscape, it's time to carry this into the magnificent laboratory of physical reality. Feel your awareness gently returning to the sensation of having a body, not the same body you had before. This body carries the frequency signature of your integrated soul. This nervous system operates from the blueprint of wholeness. Here's your daily activation trigger installing now. Every time you look in the mirror, you'll remember this complete version of yourself. Every morning you brush your teeth, you feel the abundance fragment reminding you that you live in a generous universe. Every time you take a deep breath, you sense the healing fragment activating your body's perfect blueprint. Every interaction will be the service fragment expressing itself through your authentic presence. When you laugh, you'll feel the love fragment celebrating itself as joy. When challenges arise, you'll remember the forgiveness fragment's cosmic perspective. When decisions need to be made, you'll access the power fragment's sovereign authority. And always, always, the time fragment will remind you that you have access to all possibilities across all timelines. Your energetic signature is embedding itself now into your daily reality. Feel the call to inspired action arising from this integrated state. There's something you came here to create, isn't there? Something that only the complete you can bring forth. Feel the creative impulse stirring now. You'll know what it is. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you'll know. Because when you operate from wholeness, your path becomes obvious. Your gifts become undeniable. Every step you take from this moment forward will be taken by someone who knows they are abundance, healing, service, love, forgiveness, power, and timeless creation, all unified in one magnificent expression of infinite consciousness. The journey is complete, but the adventure is just beginning. You're not the same person who began this activation. You're not becoming someone new. You're finally being who you've always been, without apology, without limitation, without the need for someone's permission. Go now and disturb the peace of mediocrity. Go and be so authentically yourself that you give others permission to remember their own magnificence. Go and live from the end of the story where you remember you were never broken, never lacking, never anything less than a walking miracle pretending to be ordinary. The world has been waiting for this version of you, and now here you are. Take a moment to feel your body, to notice your breath, to appreciate this magnificent vessel that carries your infinite consciousness through the adventure of physical reality. You are whole. You are complete. You are home. Welcome to the reality revolution.